Hey everybody, welcome to McFarlane Minutes. I'm Natalie McFarland, founder and president of McFarlane Productions, director at Off Your Rocker Films, and your host. In these episodes, you can expect deleted scenes, in-depth campaign reviews, project highlights, marketing concepts, book reviews, and a deep dive into the creative process at Off Your Rocker Films. We'll also be covering invaluable lessons on mentorship, leadership, and the business of it all. We are so excited to be releasing our episodes every Sunday as your soft launch to Monday. Hey everybody, welcome to McFarlane Minutes, your soft launch to Monday. Thanks so much for joining us again. I am so excited to be sharing with you a collaboration that we've been working on for the last few months with our very good friends at Tony Lama and at Ida Mae Home. They have put together a line of products that are Tony Lama inspired and Ida Mae made, and I am so excited to show you everything, especially because it surrounds Mother's Day. What a better topic to surround this. But I want to introduce yourself first to Emma. Emma is the director of marketing and analytics at Tony Lama and Justin Brands. Did I get it?
Yep, that's right. It's a lengthy one.
Close, good. Good. It's a long title. And then Kristin, of course, is the founder at Ida Mae Home. You guys saw her at a recent episode, and we got to walk through the back end of all the things that happened at Ida Mae there in Fort Worth. But Emma, will you kind of just give us a little bit of background on yourself, how you ended up at Tony Lama, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, it's kind of a long story, but I grew up in Oregon, so Natalie, we're not too far apart from growing up. But I grew up a little bit outside of Portland, and then I went to University of Oregon for my undergrad and got a degree in marketing and Spanish. And then wasn't done with school yet, so I moved down to Fort Worth to go to TCU for my master's and got my MBA in marketing and then a certificate in data analytics. I am really fortunate. It worked out perfect timing. I actually interviewed for this role the day that I graduated from grad school. So that was about
Perfect.
3 years ago now. Hit the ground running, kind of transferred the role into a brand management over Tony Lama, and have just been absolutely loving working on this brand and kind of doing our best to elevate it and move it forward. So it's been super fun.
Yeah, it's such a cool legacy brand. I don't think you can be anywhere near this world and not know who Tony Lama is, right? As a brand in the feel, and it's just got such a great story. And I mean, sorry, but go Beavs. But otherwise,
All
your
right.
background's pretty sweet. I love that we're both
Well,
from Oregon.
I was like, we'll disagree there, but that's okay.
Agree to disagree there.
Yes.
Kristin, I know we've had you on the podcast before, but in case they didn't watch the episode, give us how you ended up at Ida Mae.
Yeah, that's great question. So I actually grew up in Fort Worth and studied accounting of all things at Baylor. And after I graduated, I decided I was not ready to settle down in a cubicle with accounting yet. So I moved overseas to London and worked at Harrods. And when I was at Harrods, I was really exposed to the buying side of things and the merchandising, and that's where I kind of got the bug for creativity. And so after moving back to the States, I became a buyer. So I was a buyer for Marshall Fields when they were part of Target, and then Steinmart. And when I was working at Steinmart, I worked with a couple who sold me quilts, and they would design them and then import them from India and China. And we worked together for about 15 years, and they started talking to me about coming to Texas and helping them run their business. And I said, I'm really at a point where I'd like to own my own business. I'm flattered, but I've really, I love my job. I love, Florida. And then, so they said, well, we're ready to retire. And, would you be interested in buying the company? And I was like, I would. So we worked on a buyout for about 2 years just to make sure everything was right. We did a lot of praying about it just to make sure everything was, kind of meant to be, stars aligned, especially since I'm from Fort Worth. My family's all here. So we moved to Texas, and originally the company was an import company. It was not Ida Mae Home in its current form. And so we imported quilts and bedding for about 10 years until COVID. And in 2020, when everything shut down, is when we decided we need to manufacture here in Texas. And so Ida Mae was born, and Ida Mae was my nana. She grew up outside of Waco. And so we started the company in honor of her because she was a big quilter. And the manufacturing, like I said, rolled out in 2020, and it took us a couple years to get everything right and the process and everyone hired. But the last few years have been great. It's been fantastic. We love it. So.
Yeah, I just love that, there's so much roots in Texas with both brands, and that's something that I really felt strongly about as we were walking into sort of this collaboration is we've got two really strong Texas brands. Emma, what did you think, like when we first started discussing the collaboration, what was it on the Tony Lama side that made Ida Mae such a good fit? And then we'll talk vice versa too.
Yeah, Natalie, you kind of nailed it. With Ida Mae being a Fort Worth-based company, our headquarters are here in Fort Worth, and we're just really trying to move Tony Lama into the space that is for a little bit of everybody. We have our high-end product, we have our still high-quality product that's a little more entry level, and just having that wide range. We were missing the ladies. We were missing the women. We have some really incredible men's apparel coming out in the fall, and when we were looking at Ida Mae, it was the perfect opportunity to have a little bit of fun, have a little bit of creativity, hit the ladies, give us a little bit of love. And it was a company that I've been admiring for a while. I've been looking at the Dallas showroom back and forth, always contemplating. And so
The Dallas showroom, you just want to like cozy up in there and take a
lay
nap.
down, you want to take a nap. I was like, this is the time to go take a nap during WISA. Like, it's like great. But no, it's just beautiful. And just the heritage, that is something that we always try to stay really true to. Our story, our legacy here in Texas, our commitment to making high quality products. So it just seemed to go hand in hand with Ida Mae.
Yeah.
Yeah, that commitment to quality is something that I think both brands share, and Kristin, you guys bringing the operation home and being able to make it right there out the back door. I mean, talk about a way to be able to keep control over quality, no matter what piece it is that you were making. I think this collaboration in particular started originally talking about the boot bag naturally, right?
Yeah.
I think the boot bag was such a cool thing, and to be based off of a Tony Lama, a boot, and being able to kind of marry the two things together, we got that great sense of femininity that that the new Tony Lama boots, some of those more women focused fashion type boots, really brings together, and Ida Mae just embodies that, right? Can you talk some about quality, Kristin, and why is that so important to you?
Well, I mean, especially made here in Texas, made in Fort Worth, made in the USA, the quality is just, it's critical. And I love the fact that we can control every step of the process to make sure that the quality is perfect going out to the door. I always talk about our team. We've got just such an amazing team. They're all so invested, and everyone just, wants every piece to be perfect because they put their name on it. And so there's a lot of pride that goes into each piece. When we were importing, sometimes you didn't know what you were going to get until you got a call, from a customer or buyer saying, this is not what I ordered, or, those types of things. And so that's a real challenge, I think, just in general with the importing business. And so again, the fact that we can make it here, that we can control, what's coming in and all the steps throughout the process is, it's great, because then you can guarantee your quality. You can put your name on it and feel proud of it. And especially for me, having my Nana's name on it, I'm very, very protective of the brand and protective about the quality and customer service and everything. So that's very important. And the same thing with the collaboration. We're very specific about who we would do a collab with. And so, with Justin and Emma and, the whole thing, it's just such a great fit. It's just such a natural fit for us.
Yeah, let's talk about the fun part. Designing the pattern was so fun. Kristin, talk about that process. What did it look like on the Tony Lama collab? How did that work?
Yeah, you know what? It's a lot of fun. You're right. That's the most fun part of the process, I think.
Of course.
Once you get through all the other, it was great. And Emma gave great direction, which really helped, because it was specific enough in terms of color palette and what they're looking for in terms of which boot to put into the print and kind of the vibe, that it really made it just so much fun to design. Because sometimes you're designing a little bit in a vacuum and trying to kind of, figure out or read someone's mind, and Emma was very clear about their direction. And so again, that made it, I think, go very, very smoothly. And so, what we did, of course, was to incorporate the boot with some of the different, like the bits and the different, the spurs and different elements of riding and equestrian community. And then we went back and forth a couple times, but for the most part, it was a pretty fast it was a pretty fast turnaround. Like we all loved
Yeah, I
it.
feel like it only took us like a week, maybe two, something like that. After we
Maybe.
started having the discussion, it
Yeah,
was not very long.
right. Well, and that's one of the advantages we have too, both being here in Fort Worth and our being able to print something and, get it out that day means that we can really quickly, work on this and approve it. But like I said, Emma did such a good job of quickly approving too and giving feedback. So that was key.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the really cool factors that you guys did, Emma, was like, sure, we want to include Tony Lama, and it's got that great little subtle star in there with the TL on it, but it isn't like Tony Lama, like I think it has the great feel of the brand. It very much embodies the brand, but it's pretty subtle too, to go along with that. What were you guys thinking about the design? We had such great options when we first looked at them. What was the internal discussion?
Yeah, I think that was the hardest part, was picking the design. Kristin and her team got an incredible deck of options over to us, and we loved everything. But the key for us was really figuring out what felt like our brands, but didn't narrow it down so that the audience was only our brands. That's the point of collabs for us, is to expand our audience a little bit, reach people who might not know about us or who might not know about Ida Mae, and vice versa. So finding the way to incorporate that Tony Lama, that little TL, the Tony Lama star that's in our logo, but not being so loud about it that it's a deterrent to buy it. But yeah, it was so fun to go back and forth with the process. And okay, we want the derby boo,
Yeah.
and we love those stirrups, but let's put a spur there instead, just to give a little bit of a nod to the cowboy in us all and the English, and just like a little bit of back and forth on all the riding disciplines, because I think that's so important too. So
Great.
it came out wonderful. They were so easy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got such a great element of like both Western and English, and like brings in the fashion aspect. It's just such a good mix from the patterns perspective. And I honestly want to decorate my whole guest room. Is going to be redone because of you two. And apparently all of my travel items, and and maybe a vest or something. But yeah, it's a pattern that I think anybody can wear, and something that I really love about it is that snaffle bit feel is such a popular thing at the moment, and I think it's just got like a level of class, sophistication to it that just plays into that kind of feel that everybody's sort of hungry for right now.
Right.
For the collaboration, after we got the pattern going, we got all the samples going, then we got to start playing in the world of how the heck are we going to tell the world about it. Emma, Kristin, do you guys want to talk about some of your most favorite parts about the release, and maybe particular thing that you're most looking forward to?
I think for me, the photo shoot was so much fun. Oh my gosh. And what was really cool at the photo shoot, we used our horses and everything, of course, is that Emma is an amazing rider. And so she was actually up on the horse doing reining patterns. And, my daughter rides, but she was really impressed. And so it was really fun. But yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you got to ride during that. That's fun.
Yeah, we had
I'm really jealous I
right?
wasn't there.
We wish you were there. Yeah.
We were just warming up the horse for the photo shoot. So it was
Yeah, somebody had to do
Yeah.
it.
Somebody had to hop on.
But it was really, it was a lot of fun. And again, it was fun for me because it's just like hanging out with friends, which makes the whole thing more enjoyable and I think more natural. And so I loved that piece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think to tie into that, like the photo shoot is so special too, because we really took pictures of Kristin and her daughter, and kind of told that family story too. So I think that's something that's really important for both brands' legacy. So just to be able to tie that in, was really neat to see.
Yeah.
So that's part of what I'm super excited for.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. I loved the moment when we were all in the Justin offices, Tony Lama offices, and we were talking about, okay, like what is our anchor point for this idea, right? And Mother's Day had already come up, but trying to come up with like what is the personality behind this collaboration that we're trying to communicate, and really utilizing Kristin as a mom and as the founder of Ida Mae and everything that Kristin embodies in the Western lifestyle. I thought that was just so special to include you, Kristin, as kind of the center point of this. And I'm so excited for everybody for Sunday to come around, because all of the Kristin things come out on Sunday.
Thank you. Well, and Natalie, you did such a great job organizing, the marketing piece and the release and everything. I mean, that's just a real talent. And so it was just
Oh.
fun seeing it all come together and all the great ideas. I mean, just wonderful ideas. So
Well, our job is just to make everybody look good, and you guys make it easy. So
thank you.
It was fun too, seeing how quick everything came together I mean,
Yes,
the turnaround from design finalization to launch was quick.
it was quick.
Super speedy. So
yeah,
being able to put
I
together a comprehensive marketing plan
Yes.
for that, and that amount of time just speaks to the
Yes.
ease of this
Yes.
collaboration and it
Agreed.
fitting really well. So
Agreed.
Yeah, and being able to involve so many incredible individuals. Marika really kicked us off, and her giveaway is still running on Instagram by the time you see this, I think.
Yeah.
And we've got a few other influencers, media, that sort of stuff involved as well. Some of our favorite magazines are involved. So, I just feel like this collaboration just went so smoothly that you kind of want all of them to kind of have this sweetheart story, right? where
Yeah.
where it just makes sense, where it really just fits.
Right.
Uh, um, if what is the benefit for a brand like Tony Lama, Emma, to be able to do collaborations like this, where two brands are coming together? What is the big benefit on the collaboration concept?
yeah, I mean, obviously brand awareness. Ida Mae has a customer base that isn't necessarily our customer base. There's definitely alignment there, but it's not 100%. So that's huge. Another thing is we are primarily a footwear company. So being able to expand outside of that is something that is super exciting and a fun way to kind of test, like put our boots in the water and see like how that could look if we were to do something outside of that and still work with a company that's just absolutely incredible to work with. And just have a little bit of fun while we're doing it. It's something that's, I don't want to say low pressure because it's not, but something that's fun and easy to work with, and
Yes.
with people who are easy to work with, and try something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about for you, Kristen? What's the benefit for Ida Mae?
Well, I mean, just like Emma said, for us, there's just so much opportunity in this space that we are not a part of, with the footwear industry, of course. And then, Tony Lama is just just such an important name, obviously, in the industry in Fort Worth and Texas. And so being able to be associated with Tony Lama for us is a real gift, we appreciate it so much. And again, like we've talked about before, I think for us personally, it's important to work with companies that have the same values and, that character and all of those things. And so, like you said, it was just a really good natural synergy for us.
Yeah, for sure. I think too, when you expand these collaborations between brands, you're also expanding relationships between people. And I think that together the industry is stronger. And I think that's one of the things that I love most about these collaborations is how can we all pick each other up by our bootstraps,
Of course.
and all live together, because I think there's so many ways that we can work together and really build each other up. So yeah, I love that about brand collaborations for sure. So where do we go next from this? I know this weekend, Emma, you guys have a little event happening. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we kind of last minute threw it together, but we're super excited. We're doing a kind of pop-up shop for Fort Worthians to come and shop the collection, kind of get not the first glance, but a quick little sneak peek at it at our outlet store on Vickery, and we'll have playing into the Mother's Day, of course. We'll have an amazing florist who is coming and set up a little bloom bar. So we'll have bouquets for people to pick up for their mom and encourage them to get vests. And we'll have like a little sip and shop experience just right down the road from us. And
We're really excited. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, that sounds like fun to me for sure.
Come on down.
Well, I know. I just need to fly on down real quick. I'm gonna miss it by like a week and a half,
Of course.
unfortunately. So with collaborations like this, people really get involved in the story and really kind of have a feel of both brands. What is the number one takeaway you hope that people really take from the collaboration and from the story, especially surrounding moms?
Well, I think again, it goes back to, like Emma said, the heritage is very important, to both companies. The, being based in Fort Worth is very important. And I think just the common values, the character, and all of that goes into the product. There's a lot of pride, I think, from both companies that goes into the products. And I think that's important. And I think that that's something that a lot of people value, you know? So for me, I would say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She nailed it. I wish I would have
Yeah.
to be more eloquent to say that. That was exactly it. I just
Yeah, no, I agree.
the legacy of both brands and
Mhm.
how we can continue to carry that forward, but still honor the history that both brands had,
Yeah.
and have and live up to. So
Yeah, and
It's
then
exciting.
there's a lot of opportunity in the future as well.
Absolutely.
You know, we'll see where it takes us, but
we have
we've
9
already
colors of these
I know.
boots.
We've already
We
been
could do
breaking-
color
Yeah,
options.
yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a whole plethora that we could do, I think, together. And I think that's one of the beauties of both brands, you know, is that there's so much creativity on the Tony side, and then it can inspire so many different kinds of designs on the Ida Mae side, you know. And I think the two together just do a great job. And I just want to congratulate you guys. This is a big undertaking, and it doesn't always go this smoothly. And you know, to have a collaboration like this come together so quickly and so smoothly, and then we get to see it go out into the world. It's a pleasure to us to be able to see those sort of things come together so well. So we're excited for you guys, and we can't wait to see where it all goes.
Yeah, we're here.
We're super
We are
excited.
too,
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate your time jumping on in the beautiful Justin Brand's offices
Yeah.
with all that Tony Lama and Ida Mae, everything behind you. We will, in this podcast, link to the 2 landing pages on both sites so you guys can get to it. We'll also include some media and stuff like that, like to the Cowgirl Magazine article, which I just absolutely love. Kristin's story is just so special on there. We really appreciate your guys' time, and thanks for being on McFarlane Minutes.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay.